Larry Walther, Chairman, and I see a quorum, so I would like to call the meeting to order and welcome everyone here. It's good to see you guys, you guys. And so we're beginning the Arkansas Able Plan Review Committee meeting Thursday, March the 7th, 2024 at 2 p.m. The first order of business is the approval of the minutes. We have the minutes were attached to the documents y'all, I guess y'all got email, and since you're not here, you don't have them on the table with you, but are there any additions or changes that one of the board members would like to offer to the amendment, to the minutes? Seeing none, would anyone mind making a motion for the approval of those minutes?
I make a motion to approve.
We have a motion, and do we have a second?
Second, Joe.
Okay, Joe, thank you, Eddie. I guess I could do it, but I was
No.
not typically, you know, chairman doesn't do it. Let's see, any additional comments? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
I just want to, and any opposed? Okay, the minutes are approved. Okay, the next order of business is a report from the director, Plan Jackson.
Jackson.
I've known your father.
That's okay, that's okay.
Who?
Oh, John, okay. We're gonna let Johnny in. So just a few updates, bless you. That was sweet. Christy, we wanted to thank you again for the introduction that you made following our last meeting to the folks with the traumatic brain injury. I guess that it's actually called the Arkansas Brain Injury Council. So we had a very good meeting with them. In fact, I think Chris ended up dropping off some literature for them. So understandably, they're excited about the eligibility onset being, or the onset eligibility going up to 46, because they definitely see where that will help a lot of the folks in their organization. So thank you again for that recommendation.
Oh, you are more than welcome.
The other thing that we have been working on is this Monday night, Chris and I will be presenting alongside two attorneys who specialize in special needs trusts at a kind of a panel discussion that's being offered at Fellowship Bible Church here in Little Rock. And it's going to be to families who have loved ones with special needs. And I think most of them will be from the autism community, but they opened it up. They've heavily promoted it among their church and among some of their smaller groups. So we'll know Monday morning about how many people to expect, but we're excited about that opportunity.
Hey, quick question on that.
Yes, sir.
You be able to pass me information on that once you know more details about the actual event, or do you have it already?
Well, it's not really an event. It was
Okay.
it was so Amy Moore, who is Drew Moore's wife.
Okay.
She heads up their members, very active members of Fellowship Bible.
Mm-hmm.
And years ago, we were supposed to present to them, but then there was the COVID relapse, and so they canceled. So they have what are called resource nights. And
Okay, now
so
I'm tracking.
It is not an event. She invited us to come back and be a speaker. And then she was aware that there were attorneys who specialized in special needs trusts and asked if we would mind co-presenting, which we're happy to do because we've co-presented with these folks before.
Okay.
And they do a good job of promoting us as well. So it's very comfortable. But yeah, so it's just a resource night that they offer.
Okay, I appreciate that. Now I'm tracking with you.
Okay, cool. Then the last thing is we'll be presenting and attending, and I believe both of you Christy and Joe are familiar with this, the DDPA conference in April.
Yep.
And that's the Developmental Disabilities Provider Association. So there are about 90 statewide agencies that participate in this group. And we've received a lot of recommendations and opportunities to come back and speak to some of these groups as a result of being present at this conference. So that's in April. Oh, and disability rights, Arkansas and the Governor's Council, we continue to work with them on trying to create a financial planning resource
Collection, library.
for people with disabilities. And we are having our next meeting, I think, next week. So
Yes.
it's a little slow going, but we're making a little bit of progress. And that,
Did you wanna talk about the, family bistro?
oh, I'm sorry, I'm
Well, that-
usually,
yeah.
no, I'm usually
That
like.
invite
boom,
just
boom,
came in
boom.
yesterday,
Sorry.
so.
Keep each other
I
on.
just,
You hear me?
I had too
We need
much
to
to
keep
eat,
each other.
okay.
I promise. We're not gonna let you get away with passing it over.
One other opportunity, the, is it Parental Advisory Council?
Parents Advisory Council, yeah.
So it's a group, again, we've participated with them in the past, or we've been asked to.
We've been asked in the past, yeah.
And, but this time our calendars work. So there's an event that they're holding in Conway, which is where Chris lives, and it's on a weekend. And so he's offered to participate with them on Saturday, April 20th. And what did they tell you? They're about 100?
Yeah, so they're expecting about 100 to 130 people register, going off the numbers of last year. But the weather wasn't so great last year, so they're hoping this year better weather, better turnout. It'll be the 11th annual Family Bistro, like Fran said, from the Parent Advisory
Now, is that something,
Advisor Group.
that might be something we share with Joe, because that is
Yeah,
an event.
absolutely, yeah.
Are you familiar with that event, Joe?
I have not heard of that directly, but I bet you my Conway folks are aware of it. So
Well,
yes,
well-
you pass me whatever you got. We like to set
Okay.
up our tables and yeah, we have folks that live in that area that could show up and man a table to talk about our services as well.
Great.
Anything else on that?
And
Okay, are you through?
I'm not through. Well,
Are you through?
I was gonna toss it to Chris to talk about the
Well, if you weren't going
legislative.
to, I was going to.
Okay, you can toss it.
What do you got going on with the legislature?
So, Joseph and Chrissy, I believe I've already told you guys, I'm a member of the Federal Initiatives Subcommittee of the National Association of State Treasurers. It's a mouthful. We haven't come up with a great acronym yet. So one of the things that is on the federal initiatives radar is there are 3 really great provisions in the Tax and Jobs Cuts Act of 2017 related to the ABLE program. And that was the Savers Tax Credit, the Able to Work program, and the ability to roll over funds from a 529 into an ABLE plan for the same beneficiary. Like most of the Tax and Jobs Cuts Act, those 3 provisions are due to sunset at the end of 2025. And those are 3 hallmark selling points of the ABLE plan and for the disability community. So those are on our radar. We're, the subcommittee is trying to figure out how best to address this, given that most of the Tax and Jobs Cuts Act is going to be more than likely reworked with the next administration. We're just kind of waiting to see what that's going to look like in November and December, and see if a standalone bill needs to be run just to secure these 3 provisions.
Those are
Make them
huge,
permanent. Yeah.
huge selling points for the plan. So we're just staying on top of it.
Absolutely.
Good. Is that it?
Yes, sir. I'm done.
So now, the real reason we're all here, Kimberly Shockley from the census
It was worth the flight.
and from Rhode Island. She's the only person I know from Rhode Island.
Is that for real?
Yeah.
I think same here. Yeah, she really did. So you know more people from Rhode
Well,
Island.
It's got a soon-to-be son-in-laws from Rhode Island. How they got together?
Rhode Island Rams.
Rhode Island
There aren't
Rams.
that many Rhode Island women, men to
Probably about 500,000 then. About
See, that's not
500,000
many.
men. I'm there
we
with
got
it.
320
Don't say they're
million
single, that's
people.
the exact amount of men.
Remember, we got 320 million people in the United States, and about half of them probably are a little less are men.
Yeah.
And then
Little less.
you're not 1% of the.
No, we've got about 1 million people total.
Yeah, so that would be 1/30th of, well, 1/300th, I mean.
It's just a funny thing where most people know people from Rhode Island and I don't really know why.
I know somebody from Rhode Island, but.
I know, but it took you till now.
Do you know anybody else from Arkansas besides us?
No,
Okay,
There you go.
it's over.
that's true. Game, set, match.
Please, we want to know about the numbers.
Yes, I know, lots of meetings today.
Yeah.
But Able is still trending in the right direction. You can kind of see the market dips and.
Do you all have your reports?
I did not send those to you, I thought. they
I
were-
do not.
Oh, okay.
That's all right, give me just a second.
Oh,
I
go
can
on.
Well, we're
share
gonna
my-
share it.
Yeah, if you bring it up on the screen, absolutely.
Yes, sir.
Kim, you can go ahead and get
Oh,
started.
sure.
I'll pull it up.
So like I was saying, we're trending in the right direction, consistent month over month growth. And as I was saying, you can see the improvements in the market this year compared to last, when you look at the chart.
So which chart are you on?
I am
Is it
on
the
page
total
2.
assets?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Because there's not any page numbers.
Oh, mine has a page number. I don't know what I did differently, when I sent the PDF, apologize. But going on to assets by investment option.
Which is the next page.
Looking at this, it seems like Arkansas, more than the rest of the alliance, seems to like that, conservative option, so a non-transactional investment account that gives them that conservative. I know it's been talked about, or from what I understand has been talked about, the idea of having that standalone Sally Mae option maybe in the future, so just a higher interest savings account.
Fixed income,
What's that?
fixed income.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So it might be nice to look into that as an option for the plan as you look at it for Arkansas residents. Most other plans skew mostly towards checking. And you guys have about the same quarter of your investors in there, but that conservative option does stand out as being popular amongst
Which is-
Arkansas able owners.
We're in that, where most of the DCFS accounts
That's
are.
what-
Yep, that makes sense. So these are contributions by month. We look like we're lower than last year, same time, so you'll get November. So I think just timing issues happen. They seem to be pretty consistent, other than that. Contributions by type. It looks like the payroll contribution in Q4 make up 1/3 of the annual total. It looks like those have gone up maybe a bit in Q4. So just wanted to, maybe I'll look deeper into that and see if we're seeing more able to work, as you look into this legislation,
That'd be
Chris,
great.
Cause I think that would be a positive if we feel like we have more, people contributing through payroll to the plan. Kind of going towards that exact group we want, people who have the ability to work, save some money, and require the savings plan in order to do so. As far as distributions by month, they went down in December compared to November, but once again, I don't know if November had an extra weekend last month or something, but it seems as if you look at a difference in December year over year, you see the opposite in November. You know what I'm saying? Like, we looked really high and then went down. But these are transactional accounts, so we're gonna see a lot of movement of this money. All right, so
So some of that have to do with some year end spending that they.
they shouldn't have to with this account. The hope is that if you have an Able account, you don't have to do that. And it's usually end of month, I think it was
Yeah.
for everyone. The end of the month, you couldn't have more than $2,000 in your checking account. Able's kind of supposed to make it so that that issue no longer impacts you. So hopefully it's working for that, but still, there's end of year bills, there's different things that come up for anyone, that might be end of year. Looking at distributions by type. One thing I noticed, you guys these don't seem to have a lot to a third party. Doesn't seem like a lot of people are paying bills or something like that out of their Able account. Most people are going to the ATM, it looks like. That would be my guess. Just like any of us would. Just go get some cash, utilize your funds. Funny, I don't notice, other than going to have a withdrawal at the bank, stands out, these accounts amongst any other checking or savings account that you'd see, but people are just utilizing their money in whatever ways is most appropriate for them. Interesting stat, but like I said, these are really just transactional accounts for people. Distributions by age group, you can see that 30 to 40 range is definitely using more of their funds. Can I just ask, just because I'm curious, because I didn't make this chart originally, why our age bands are so short in the middle here, like 17 to 23 is not one age band.
I could
We
not tell
didn't
you.
create
Okay.
it, it would have been.
We didn't give any guidance on those age bands.
All right, so just something I'm wondering about, like, it's just kind of atypical to see 22 to 23 as an age band for just spending.
Yeah,
Right,
So might want to look at tightening this chart up a
Well,
little bit.
yeah,
I think
we
5-year increments.
welcome your
Yeah.
recommendation.
We'll take a
on
look,
that.
well, maybe Johnny and I could take a look and see like where we start to see trends.
Mhm.
You can
Or-
also compare some of the other plans and see what they're using for age bands.
Perfect, thanks, Johnny.
I mean, there may have been some rationale behind breaking these out
Mhm.
because of what kids are doing, the age groups. I don't know, there may be some history behind it that we don't know.
That's what I was wondering, is if maybe you guys knew something I didn't. Seeing none of us know, I like the idea of tightening it up. All right, so, new accounts by month, this quarter looked pretty good. And if you look at online and paper, especially for 2023 as a year, in total, they're about the same. Online 130, paper 128. I am really curious how the entity enrollment changes, are gonna change that number. Cause at least when we look at the entity that we work with right now, they're on paper because they have to be.
Yeah.
As opposed to because that's the easier, more convenient way of doing it. So I am curious, to see how that stat's gonna change once we have that, enacted. All right, so, on the next, you'll see able custodian type. See about 37% have an authorized individual transacting on the account, 36 a parent or guardian, and 27% are taking care of their own funds. So, I don't know if there's any other items on any of these slides that you guys want me to pull things from, but
On the authorized individual type, can we drill down into that? On a quarterly basis?
It's interesting that
Yeah,
there's
whether
more of
we-
that than there are parents and guardians.
Well, I mean, you look at the authorized individual
Mental
type,
capacity.
I mean, with the authorized individual type, you got one person managing 4 or 5 accounts sometimes at least, or in the case of
Right.
ECFS, hundreds.
right. Yeah, with these entities, you are gonna see more of the authorized individuals,
Mhm.
taking care of accounts on behalf of an adult without the capacity. I don't know if we have on here, we don't break down number of accounts by age, so you wonder, are those younger kids less likely to have an able account? That I don't know. This is just accounts by disability type. Just giving the type of disability and how much people are saving who are in that disability type. If you look at the average account sizes, I'll
disregard other. But it does seem to be that those with syndromes like Down syndrome, blindness or deafness also seem to be groups that are more likely to work. You know, to be able to save their own money.
Another column, maybe we could add was, like, number of transactions, number of withdrawals,
Number
because
of,
this is by quarter. I'm just curious to see if, one of these disability types is more transactional in nature. You know, more daily recurring expenses that they're using the ABLE account for an intellectual disability type compared to a nervous disorder.
what would we do with that information?
Well, if we can figure out which types of disabilities transact on the ABLE account more, it could help us kind of hone in on some marketing efforts
Okay,
specific to
gotcha.
different folks in the
Right,
market. Yeah.
I see what you can do there. I will say, having worked for a bank before I came into the state savings plans.
Yeah.
A lot of people who receive SSI, they like to go to the bank. They like that communication, they like that interaction, so they don't get that with this account, which is funny. So you wonder how many people are still daily transacting, going, when you see that like ATM machines, your largest way that people are taking money out. But we'll take a look, I'll take that back. I'm really close to being, blind, so I might be able to get on this list.
the big.
No, I'm looking at big.
I
I
think
actually
Dave,
put some notes on.
oh, okay, I was about to say, I think Dave picked the color scheme or something.
I love
You
the
wanna
color,
change it up.
everything's good color wise. I printed it out in that notes view
So
for
it's,
myself,
yeah,
and
it's
so
pretty
I'm
tiny.
like, I'm practically blind. Accounts by eligibility and custodian type. This just states whether or not they're eligible for social security, supplemental social security benefits. I will ask, do you guys have something that you're looking for here?
No, this set of data is pretty self-explanatory and
Mhm.
there's no other options we're missing.
Account closures by month, not a lot. Most of them closed because, they were inactive, so either didn't get funded or went to zero. Some, like I said, that they did a full disbursement in order to close out. I don't know how that differs from customer request. So I don't know if some people zero out their account and it closes as opposed to, I wanna close my account and someone sends them a check. But-
Is that how it works with the 529? You zero it out and then it closes.
So you can have more than one 529 plan. So I don't believe that one does close, but with, Able, is it still like it used to be, where after a certain number of days it will close?
Yes, if it's unfunded. yeah.
Unfunded? Because if someone closed it to open another one, they're not legally allowed to have two more than one.
529.
No more than one
This-
Able plan, yeah.
Okay.
And then finally, as far as how you can hear about our plan, which I think, Chris, going back to what you said about, marketing. I think this is good news. A lot of people are hearing it through the organization that they're a part of. Family and friends who probably either have accounts or know someone with an account. And the advisor is a great one that you can see in the past. That's been pretty consistently a good way of finding out about the plan. Because how people are hearing about it for the most part is from someone they trust. Organization, friend, advisor.
State planner.
So I think that that's a good sign. Also, with all you have up here, people are filling in the boxes. Like, it does seem that every type of advertisement you use, someone has heard from it, and given the size of Able, that's pretty impressive. 11 off the treasurer's website. I'm assuming those 11 had heard about it before.
Yeah, you never know if
So-
people are understanding the question.
And it might have been the last place they
And
went
it's
before
fine,
opening it.
yeah.
Which I think is fine. They're going to your website for information, which is what you
we
want.
want, right?
But yeah, I do think it's good that there are so many, people getting this information from a trusted advisor or a friend. Any questions that people have about Able? How the plan's working, how things are going? Yes.
Just on your, I know you're fairly new to census, have you gained success stories for us from the states and new programs, new ideas, or anything where they're getting more activity or more touches?
I do think that what you guys have with DHS is a good relationship, DCFS. And I think that that's where people are finding some really strong, lasting relationships. A lot of people opening accounts is going through organizations and entities. I've only worked with 2 accounts at the moment. Do you know of any ideas that people have had from other states that you'd like to look into,
I
things
know
that
they're
are going
on,
well?
look, I was asking. some of your-
No, like I said, coming from Rhode Island too, I've noticed that it is going through trusted organizations. That is the best way to reach the most people. We worked with our local social security office, you know, going into high schools when people are aging out. Has always been a good method for our state. Like I said, I think the DCFS has been a good method of getting people into accounts and learning about ABLE for Arkansas.
And
Well,
DC
the organization seems to be where most people, the majority of people are getting the information. What is an example of an organization like?
Like the, like,
SSI?
well, like the Autism Outreach
Okay.
Center, or like when we were talking about this event that Chris will be going to, the Parent Advisory Council. You know, the people who attend those conferences, the families who attend already have faith in the Parent Advisory Council people. And so what we've been doing is outreach to the Parent Advisory Council. We've reached out to the people that run the Arkansas Autism Resource Center. And then they turn around and invite us to their lunch and learns that host their families. So it's like we're aligning ourselves with the reputable people that the families trust.
Well, we're doing something right.
That's what we're trying to.
Yeah.
trying
Yeah,
to do.
the account,
with
the
that
account is
now.
growing, which I think is fantastic.
Mhm. Good. Thank you.
If I learn anything from other states though, I will let you know.
Are there any questions for Kimberly?
None here.
Thank you. Is there any new business we might want to talk about in the next meeting?
I don't, did either one of you have anything to tell us about that you're working on, or anything that would be of interest to us over here at Able on this side?
No.
No, not this time.
Yeah,
That wasn't very, that wasn't
Not
enthusiastic.
I know.
Let's do this.
We're working our state plan submission. It's a requirement for workforce programs. It includes some references to our partnerships. I'm not sure if we were able to weave y'all into it, but we can still do that and just talk a little bit about our partnerships with the treasurer's office and talking about the ABLE program. But yeah, just whack-a-mole, that's it.
Whack-a-mole. If there's any information you need from us for that, just let us know.
So what is the
Will do.
next meeting you got?
So we're tentatively looking at the week of June 10th. And I think specifically
13.
Thursday, the 13th. So we will follow up with an email, but if you happen to know already that there will be a conflict. I mean, I know we're getting into vacation times, assuming you take them. But that's what we're looking at right now.
Well, my birthday is the 10th, so I may be joining with a cigar in my mouth.
Good for you.
Anytime that week, though, is good.
Good.
Okay. Christy, what about you?
As of right now, it's fine, as long as it's not the week before, because my son gets married on that Saturday, so that week
Okay.
before is going to be
Congratulations.
crazy.
Yeah. Well, Christy and Joseph, thank you for being here and participating. Thank you for your commitment to ABLE. Appreciate that very much. If we don't have any additional business, we don't have any, you don't have any?
I'm done.
Okay, then we stand adjourned. So thank y'all.
Appreciate y'all.
Thank you.
All right,
Hi, Johnny.
take care.